Surprise! Yes, big surprise. Hey guys, happy Wednesday. It's Andi Rose here, back in the studio after a bit of a hiatus. I've just been sick, not feeling very well. I had the bronchitis and I lost my voice and was really busy planning a bunch of things and working on the radio stuff and had a couple shoots and everything just kind of hit me all at once, and bam, there I was, sick in bed, and I've been, been good for the last couple of weeks now. Luckily, I was well for my first birthday in about 5 or 6 years. It's nice. It was nice to be able to celebrate my birthday. I had the pleasure and honor of celebrating my birthday this year with family members, actually. My family lives really far away, and so I got to celebrate with an aunt and a cousin who also have the same birthday as me. And my cousin, another cousin of mine, actually got married the same day. So it was a huge family celebration. It was a lot of fun. It was really awesome. It was amazing to see everybody, and everybody looked amazing, and the wedding was so beautiful, and it made me look forward to what life has yet to bring for me, And so after that, actually before that, I had a huge birthday blowout here with a lot of my close friends. My best friends were there, and a lot of good friends were there, and it was awesome. We had a great time. Aside from the fact that everybody kept getting lost in the hotel, there are four elevators in the hotel lobby, but then there's 2 different elevator shafts or elevator something, I don't know. It was very confusing, so everybody got lost. But it was okay. We all made it. We all survived. And it was an amazing birthday, and I was so happy to have all my friends and see my family and everything. So here I am, a big 3-0, and alive and kicking, and apparently and awesomely so is Deftones. I know that was an odd segue, but I just want to let you know that if you don't know who that song was by, it is by the Deftones. It's Graphic Nature. It's from their newest CD, and it's awesome. Their newest CD is somewhat different than what you might expect from Deftones, only because it sounds a little less raw. It's Koi no Yukon, and I'm probably not pronouncing it right, but that's their newest one, and like I said, the song is Graphic Nature. It's a really excellent CD, like all their other stuff, so I just wanted to play it because it was one of my birthday gifts. Thank you, Auntie. And so that's that, and basically tonight's show, I'm only on here for a little bit. I have an early morning tomorrow, and I just wanted to come on and say hey and just start fresh. Since I've been sick, I was able to kind of go over how the show was going, and it was headed in a direction that I wasn't happy with the direction it was headed with. I really enjoyed having all the guests and the musical guests, and I enjoyed having DJ Chuckles and the DJs from Ambiotic System, from Greece and everything, and working with Neil was awesome. But I tend to be more of a random genre show. I like to talk about the news, talk about what's going on, talk about life, etc. So it just wasn't working being an all music show and an all interview show. It was just not the direction. So as much as I appreciated everything and all the work everybody did and all the efforts, it just wasn't the right time for that type of show. But that's okay. And I still plan on doing podcasts of events. I did get to go to one awesome event. Well, I've been to a couple, but I recorded the 420 event more than a month ago. Wow. So a 420 event, and that's coming up. Like I said, being sick kind of keeps you from really getting a lot done. So look for that coming up. I've been working on the website. That's coming up in the next month as well, and video coming up as well. So there's a lot coming up. So thanks for bearing with me. Anyway, straight to the show. I don't know who watches Game of Thrones, and I don't know in this community. I have a lot of friends who watch it, and I made them not tell me anything because I knew it was supposed to be a big episode on Sunday, and I wanted nothing to do with the Game of Thrones until after I saw it. And unfortunately, I fell asleep really early on Sunday and was unable to watch it when it came on. And I saw all these things online, and it said Game of Thrones, Red Wedding, and if you don't want to know what happens, if you haven't watched it yet, then don't listen. But basically, I didn't know what to expect because I was reading these things online. I didn't read any of the articles. I just saw the different, links for Game of Thrones, Red Wedding, and I saw these tweets of people saying, "Oh my God, I hate Game of Thrones." I was like, "Oh my goodness, what the hell happened?" And that's what HMFS is actually, holy motherfuck shit. So excuse my bad language, but that's how I felt. I don't know about you guys, but when I saw the end, I was crying, and I was so mad because I've been reading the first one to try and catch up, and I'm nowhere near the middle. I'm probably a third of the way now. It doesn't matter how much I read a night or a day, I'm not getting through this book. And I'm trying to get to the second one and to the third one so that by the time the show comes back on next season, I'm caught up and I know what's going on instead of being freaking blown out of my mind like I was on Tuesday, like I was last night. And so basically, if you watch the show, there are moments of it where it's really boring, boring because there's a lot of conversation and it's slightly hard to follow. There was that really great, that interesting episode where Joffrey kind of shows the new betrothed his evilness. He's like, I'm sadistic, sadistic, and she was kind of like, okay, well, I can play with that. She's a cool character. And then there was the wedding between Sansa and I can never say his name right, Tyronison, or you know who I'm talking about, the dwarf. I can never say his name. But so then there was that, and that was an interesting episode. And I actually thought there wasn't an episode before that or after that, so I was shocked when I heard there was a show on Sunday. And then I saw it on Tuesday, and like I said, I cried, and I'm not ready to be done with the characters because they're still alive in my book, and it's so confusing. And I don't know how I'm going to keep reading the book. I really honestly think I should put the book down and just continue with number 2, because basically it's been marred for me, and I don't want to read it anymore. Boo, whatever. What can you do? And so basically, okay, to get to the point, it's a huge tragedy. And so the oldest son, the King of the North, the guy Ned, who got killed, who was Robert's right hand, the father of Sansa and the Starks, Caitlyn's husband and Rob's mother. That's Rob. Yeah, you know Rob. He's the one that became the king, and he married the other girl during the war behind everybody's back, even though he was supposedly betrothed to Walder Frey, can't read. Walder Frey, and he was the king. And so he betrayed him by marrying this other girl instead of his daughter. Well, the reason it's called a red wedding is because it was such a sad, disgusting display of massacring ever. And I will, at some point, get into violence and all of that jazz, but that's not tonight. That's another night. That's a whole nother story. But Game of Thrones is a show that I watch with a queasy stomach. And or not even a queasy, but an uneasy feeling, because I'm afraid of what's going to happen. I'm afraid of whose hand is going to get chopped off, or whose head's going to get lulled, or loll on the ground. It just is, it's too violent for me. But I watch it because it's an interesting storyline. It's an interesting plot line. And the characters are very interesting and endearing once you've read about them for a long time. And that's why I'm so pissed off, and I'm not able to even discuss. I haven't been able to talk about the show with anybody yet. This is the first time I've talked about it. So, yay. They all die. Everybody dies. After everything. It didn't matter what they did. They did all this fighting and they did all this treatying and everything just for the Frey to stab everybody, have everybody slashed and blood everywhere. And the way that these people were killing each other was just so grotesque. I mean, the bad guys, we'll call them the bad guys, who's Frey's guys. And then you have the Starks who were all there to celebrate the wedding of the Starks guy, his friend instead, and an actually not bad-looking daughter of Frey. And so they were all celebrating, and nobody was expecting this. I mean, if you read the book, obviously you were expecting it, and screw you for not warning us about it. Well, I did get a warning, but like I said, I wouldn't let anybody talk to me about it, so it's my own fault. But yeah, they're all dead. After all that, Caitlyn's dead, and Rob's dead, and Rob's new bride, what was her name? His wife, Talissa, and Caitlyn were all, like, slaughtered. Just, Talissa was, I mean, you saw it. Like, who would do that to oh my God, I just can't even imagine, like, I take things too literally, I think, and I just, like, try to imagine what it would be like being in that room, and I just was horrified, and it took me, like a minute to cry. It took me a good minute to realize that Rob was dead, and that Caitlyn was dead, and I'm in the part in book 1 where Caitlyn just gets to talk to the eunuch and everybody about the knife that belonged to the guy that almost killed the crippled son. I'm so bad with names. Don't ask me about names. I don't know names of characters. I can't retain all of that. I mean, I remember Sansa and Joffrey, and that's about it. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm really bad with names. But, yeah, I'm sad and kind of pissed because I shouldn't have watched that episode. Because now I know what happens to Caitlyn despite all of her hard work and all of her efforts, which really sucks. And what sucks even worse is that oh God, what is the youngest daughter's the daughter I'm gonna have to Google this for you guys because I'm such a spaz. I totally forgot her name. Okay, Sansa you have, which is the older daughter with the red hair, and she's the one that was going to marry Joffrey. Thank God she didn't. I felt bad for her too. And then he has the second daughter. What the heck is her name? I'm just IMBD this, duh. I was prepared. I lost the page. This is such bad preparation, and I apologize for that. The daughter, and I should know her name, and I'm going to kick myself when I tell you her name. Sansa Bran. Bran is the one that was handicapped. And Arya. Let's see, Arya. But, like, Arya. I mean, really, I don't remember names like that. Sansa's a weird name, but it reminds me of that diet stuff, the Sansa. So that's why I can remember it. But Arya, I mean, the fact that she was that close to walking in on her whole family, oh, it just broke my heart. And it just made me fall in love with the character of the dog, the guy that she was threatening to stab in the eye with. So he saved her from that, and it was really great. But I'm still pissed off. So thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Martin. You're awesome. I will not be needing this book anymore, apparently. You can't see I'm holding up the book, but maybe later. So yeah, moving on with that, because I don't want to talk about it anymore. I cried for about a good half hour. I wouldn't talk to my friends about it, and probably still won't talk to anybody about it because it's kind of like traumatizing. So I'm gonna move on to the main part of the thing, and I'm at 11 minutes, so that's perfect. The next topic I'm going to talk about next week, which is something I've talked about before. It's censoring, and the last time I talked about censoring, it was, I don't really remember. But that has to do with the ADHD memory thing. Anyway, so this is the second censorship, gun violence, that's what it was, censoring gun violence. So this is the second censor episode, and this one's about sex. And the reason it's about sex is because basically that's all that's apparently floating around in the world. It's replaced drugs, which is, it's great that drugs have been replaced, but now everywhere I look, there's sex, 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 sex. And that's great if you want to have sex. That's great if you want to flaunt that you're sexy. And that's great that you want to have, you know, sex on camera. I mean, more power to you. I would never do that kind of stuff. I take a little bit more pride in my secrecy, I guess, or I don't like showing everything. I'll show a little bit. I'll do a little bit of a tease and be like, hey, you know, you can see my shape, blah, blah, blah. But that's about it. And the fact that we pretty much not even idolize, but we condone the amount of sex going on in the world, like being shown, it's kind of, it's irritating and it's sad. And as a woman, I mean, I know there are women who enjoy porn, and I'm not talking shit about anybody. These are my opinions, okay? So before anybody gets their panties knotted or anything, watch your porn. That's great. I'm not saying I'm perfect and or you know, godly or whatever, and have never in my life seen a porno flick. Who hasn't? I mean, I watch television, and there's basically porn on there. So I mean, I'm not a prude to prude max, you know, but I don't need to have this shit blown up in my face every time I turn the internet. I mean, it's gotten worse than guns and drugs. It's prevalent now. I mean, it's prevalent always, but it's like now it's acceptable. Now it's a way to gain stardom, even more so than it was when Kim Kardashian used it as a step up, as a step ladder to fame. And now it's something that is kind of expected, and if it's not there, it's not good. It's like, what happened? Why was I not turned on? Why was there no sexuality going on? Why was there no sex? Why didn't I see any boobies? Why didn't I see any sexy chicks? Okay, sexy is more than just boobs and ass. Okay, sexy can also have to do with intelligence and the way a person is. Personality can be sexy. You know, the way a person can equate math problems can be sexy. I find intelligent men quite sexy because I need someone that can stimulate my brain. I mean, it's all great if you can stimulate me in other places, but if you can't challenge my brain, then it's not going to work out for very long. And it just seems like now that the world has become obsessed with sex and porn and using sex as a catalyst and using sex as a means to be somebody. And it's really sad. And if you aren't getting the gist of the people I'm talking about, there's the obvious one, whatever, the teen mom girl. I'm not even going to dignify myself by saying her name. Her last name is Abrahams. And the only reason I'm saying that, and the only reason I'm being bitchy about it, is because she's an 18-year-old kid, 19-year-old kid. And people are congratulating her and saying, good for you, you're awesome, you're great, you made $2 million off of taking it up the ass. Wow, you're a great example for your daughter. Not, I'm sorry if that's bitchy, but I mean, really? She was talking about how she's going to show the porn to her kid when she's 13 years old. I don't know how much the tabloids are true, obviously. I haven't talked to the chick myself. But if that's the truth, and if she's proud of herself for taking it in the ass for $2 million, I'm glad you know your number. Mine's a lot higher than that. But hey, if you can get 2 mil for doing it in the spot where nasty stuff comes out of, good for you. I don't know. I know some of you guys like that, but I just, ask any of my friends. I'm so against it. It's not even funny. But yeah, so there's that. I mean, go take it wherever you want. I really don't care. I mean, that's the thing. The thing I care about is the fact that everybody gives a shit about it, literally. People give a shit, and it's been everywhere, and kids know about it. I mean, I have teenage kids who come and, they tell me, like, have you seen this thing with the teen mom? I'm like, why are you talking to me about this? I am an inappropriate person to talk to about this. But at the same time, I am an appropriate person to talk to, unfortunately, because I'm a mentor. But all I can say to them is, I mean, I really didn't know what to say. I just said, don't talk to me about this. It's not appropriate. But the thing is that it's never going to be appropriate. And unfortunately, we've accepted it as being appropriate. And I'm all for people being open and honest about their sexuality. I mean, for God's sakes, I mean, how many times do I have to say about my own preferences, and I advocate for who I advocate for? I'm not going to get into it. So I'm into people advocating sex properly and advocating or talking about sex legitimately, but not using it as a catalyst to make themselves famous and to make themselves rich. Like, that's sick. Like, I can't even imagine. I've done video work before, and I can't even imagine, like the video camera people, like, what do they write home about to their parents? Hey, mom and dad, I got a job as a sex filmer. Like, I watch people have sex and I film them and I make money. I mean, yeah, it's money, but I would not be proud of myself. I'm sorry, I sound like a huge ranty bitch, but I just don't understand it. I really don't. I never will. And we're going to get into facts next week. This was just the opening part of my rantings on it. And I'm going to get into actual more facts about it. I mean, there's a lot about sex education that needs to be put out there, and I will put it out there. As well as ranting more about stupid people using sex as a catalyst. It is not a catalyst. Use your talent. Laying there and taking it in different places is not a talent. It's called life. Everybody does it. I'm not getting paid. That sounded wrong. But you know what I'm saying. Anyway, I'm done for the evening. It's my AC's not working right, so I've got to go jiggle the switch or something, and I'm going to go do that now. So enjoy the rest of the song. Next week I will be back with more information on censorship of sex, how other countries deal with it, etc., etc. I have a lot of information, so prepare. Come at me with your own ideals and stuff. Blog is what is the blog? It's changed so many times. I know, even I can't keep track. It's Andi's ADHD spot.blogspot.com, and look for a change again soon. Sorry. Also, ADHD Andy on Twitter and GChat. You can hit me up with any of your messages on Gmail or Twitter. And I will talk to you guys next week. And stay sexy, but stay classy. Peace.